What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Pink Couch Chronicles. If you don't know who I am by now, my name is Lacey, and thank you so much for joining me in my humble abode. If you're new here, or if you've just been watching and you have yet to become a part of the Pink Couch Chronicles, do me a favor, hit that red button that says subscribe so that you can be part of the Pink Couch Chronicles family. So today I wanted to do a quick story time for you all. This is a real life story, and I'm gonna share a part of my life that I really haven't talked about. So when I went to A&T, my sophomore year of A&T, let me back up. So growing up in a small town and being like one of the only Black girls in my town, I really didn't have like a lot of friends. I never really had like one best friend throughout my whole entire childhood, or like even a solid group of friends. It always seemed like people would just kind of like drop off, or they move away, or they get in a new grade and find new friends, whatever. And being that, it was a small town, some of my friends like lived far apart, and so we really couldn't see each other like that. So it was hard to maintain those childhood friendships sometimes. And so when I got to A&T, my sophomore year of college, I actually met a girl who happened to be my suite mate, and we instantly clicked. We became like inseparable, and she ultimately became like my best friend. And I think this was probably the first time that I really had like a true best friend. Like, she and I were always doing things together on campus. She didn't really have any other friends on campus. I didn't really have any other friends on campus besides like acquaintances. And so it was just always she and I like getting into stuff, exploring Greensboro, going to parties, like studying together. Like, we literally did everything together. This was my girl. We remained friends, of course, even after college. But throughout our relationship, especially like in the later part of our relationship, I definitely realized some things that kind of, I don't want to say like made me uncomfortable, but they just realized that this friendship or this relationship was not, it had either run its course or it just wasn't serving like the purpose that I needed it to. There were a lot of things like I felt like she wasn't really there for me like I was there for her. Now, granted, like there were a lot of times where she did show up for me, and she did, go out of her way to do some things for me, and I was very appreciative of that. But like emotionally, just having a friend like I felt like I really could depend on, like she just was not it. And for whatever reason, a lot of times, like she always made stuff about her. If I came to her with a situation, let's say even something as small as like me having a backache, like I would come, like I'd say to her like, girl, oh my gosh, like my back's hurting today. She'd be like, yeah, like my head hurts. Like, oh my gosh, it's crazy. Like I've had a migraine. And it was like stuff like that, like on a small scale, but also on a larger scale. Like even when I came to her with like issues and things that were really bothering me, she would like not even respond to what I had just said. She would instead like just start talking about herself. And that just really bothered me because it just seemed like I didn't really have anyone that I could talk to. This is supposed to be my best friend. And so we had a situation. This was about 3 years after we had graduated college. And it wasn't really like a big, huge thing. But to me, it was honestly like the cherry on top of the cake for me to be like, nah, like I can't do this anymore. Like you and I, like we just can't be friends anymore. And I have not heard from her like since that day. Now, like granted, she was the one that was in the wrong. And I'm never that type of person to hold grudges. So I don't, hold grudges, and I don't hold a grudge against her. I definitely forgave her for the situation, even though I never received an apology. But I say that to say it kind of confirmed that like that relationship just had hit its dead point. And I wanted to make this video because as millennials, like it's really, really important to watch the people that you have in your circle. And for me, it was like really hard to cut this girl off because she was not only was she my best friend, but she was probably one of the closest people that I had to me. Like I don't have a ton of friends. Like I definitely have some close friends, but if I had to, like honestly put my friends on a level. Like, she was up here and my other friends were like here as far as like closeness to me. Not as, you know, as far as important, because all of my friends were important, but that's just where we were. Like, she and I were like super tight. Me and my other friends, you know, we're cool. We kick it out every now and then, but they weren't people that I send like the funny memes to all day, every day, that I tell super random stuff to like all day, every day. And so you have to imagine how hard that was for me to cut that person off. But I definitely think that in the end, it was very beneficial, because that friendship was honestly starting to suck the life out of me. And I just didn't feel like it served a purpose anymore. And like, sometimes you really have to sit back and look at your friends, even your close friends, and ask yourself, like, do these people serve a purpose in my life? Why are they in my life? And if they're not serving a purpose, like, how do I let them go? I did a video a while ago. I don't know if it's still up. It was probably on my other channel. But anyways, I did a video a while ago on relationships, just talking about different types of relationships and what to expect out of them. Because just because someone is not really feeding you and feeding your spirit does not always mean that you need to cut them off. There are some people who are placed in our life who we are meant to pour into, and we're meant to almost mentor them. And so I think we get messed up sometimes when we get these relationships, these types of relationships, like, mixed up. We're expecting someone who we are called to just, you know, guide and mentor and help. We're expecting them to feed back into us, when that's really not their purpose for our life. Now, if you know that you have a friend in your life and it's supposed to be like a two-way street, like you feed me, I feed you, and that person's not doing that, like you know that that is the expectation or the standard for that relationship, then that's a totally different story. Yes, it was definitely hard to cut that person off. I can't even lie, I really miss having like a best friend, like a tight homegirl, but I'm never worried really about who is in my life or who isn't in my life. I know that God places the right people in your life at the right time, and I'm cool with that. Thank y'all so much for watching this video. Don't forget to hit subscribe, and I will see y'all on the next video. Bye, y'all.